Hi, I'm Brian Moran, founder of Government CIO. Welcome to Government CIO Magazine.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Barrett with Government CIO Magazine. We're here today with Malcolm D. Jackson, Assistant Administrator and Chief Information Officer of the Environmental Protection Agency.
Well, here at EPA, they've done a lot of great work prior to me getting here. One of the things I've always said is that we need to do a better job of communicating and marketing some of the tools that we've developed. So one of the first things we did in order to support telework was to take a number of the tools that we already had that weren't really being utilized or underutilized, and we put a wrapper around it. And these tools help to support telework here within the agency, essentially creating a portal that allows easy access and easy usability for these tools. It's gone over really well. We've gotten a lot of positive praise from our regional customers as well as our internal customers here. It's something that's been very successful and very, very well accepted by the agency, and has gone a long way in just taking the agency to a new level. The unique challenges, as I see it, is just it's evolving. Services is something that when you think about what we provide from a technology perspective, we help enable the agency to be effective, aligning with the mission of the agency. So we look at what types of services that we can provide to help enable a changing workforce. And this changing workforce is something that's evolving. The federal government, federal worker, and how they work 5, 2, 3, 4 years ago has dramatically changed. So we have to evolve and develop innovative services that support our workforce as they look to be teleworkers, as they look to work from wherever. If it's a coffee shop, how do we enable that and provide the level of services that will allow employees to be able to reach the information they need at the right time, the right place, from wherever they sit. Well, first of all, there's really no such thing as an IT issue, at least in my opinion. IT is an enabler. What we need to do in the world of IT is understand what the business, or in this case, what the federal government is looking to achieve. What types of capabilities are they looking to develop? What types of initiatives that they have underway? And then we underlay that with the technology that helps enable that. So in response to your question, we need to make sure that the initiatives that we develop from an IT perspective meet and help the agency or federal government meet its initiative, and in our case, meeting our mission of our agency, which is protecting human health in the environment in which we live. Collaboration is something that's very important for the agency, both internally as well as externally. What we're doing in terms of internally, short term, we have a two-phase approach to this, and that's looking at the tools we have in place and how do we put a wrapper around those tools and educate our workforce so they better understand what the tools we have in place and how do they use those. And I also would argue that collaboration is not something which you just give the workforce in terms of tools. We have to re-educate our workforce on how to work in a collaborative nature. We're just beginning to do that with the tools we're having in place today. Longer term, we want to move from those tools that we have in place. So we've got the tools we have today. We've got the educational component. Longer term, we're putting together a plan around how do we develop or bring integrated tools, collaboration tools to this agency in a manner that aligns with our mission, our budget, and our business processes that we have in place. So that's the short term, and that's internally. Externally, what we're doing is working with other federal agencies, our federal family, and beginning to understand what are they doing around collaboration, because we want to learn from them. We're also working very closely with external partners, along with states and tribes, because they are our partners, and we want to begin to understand how we can better collaborate with them, and what tools we have to have in place, and ensuring that we have a seamless approach to this. We think if we do this through meetings, collaborations, through information exchange, that we will put a pretty good plan in place that will help us to meet that goal. IT commoditization is something that hasn't had the focus that it's needed to have. I totally support this as OMB came to us with that as a directive, and it's something that coming into my role, I looked at first. We are working very closely with our federal family in terms of other agencies and departments to better understand what are they doing from an IT commodity perspective and how we can learn from them. What I've said to my team is, if we're doing things well here and it's something that's a best practice, we want to share it, we want to communicate it, we want to give it to others. But if others are doing things that we're not doing here that we could learn from them, I want to steal it. I want to borrow it, I want to leverage it. I want to drive down costs, but I want to optimize costs. I'm looking to maximize my IT investment, and IT commodity, or commodity IT rather, is a way of doing that. I've always said that I want to do more with the same dollar or investment levels that I have today. EPA was one of the first adopters for social media. We're actually one of the leaders across the federal government. Web 2.0, which is the foundational components of social media, was adapted and actually broadly leveraged across the agency before I got into my spot. Administrator Lisa Jackson, she supports social media. She has a Facebook page and she also tweets. She's very, very supportive of it. What we're doing is we're looking at where it is today and how do we stay in front of it and align our resources to ensure that we can leverage social media in a way for receiving information and also communicating a message, our message, here within the agency. Because our goal that in order for us to be successful, that we be as transparent as possible, and that is one of the vehicles that we're leveraging within the agency for doing that. Cybersecurity is one of the most important areas within IT. I have always said, and I still believe this, that it's the one thing that keeps me up at night. And it keeps me up at night because I never know what it is that's going to hit me, when it's going to hit me, or how it's going to hit me. So what we're doing here, and I can't go into any of the specifics around innovation because cybersecurity is all about protection and reacting to incidents, and I don't want to lead into some of the things we're doing, but at least give out my playbook, if you will. But what we're doing is, our first step on it was around education. So we're focused on educating the entire agency around what the risks are associated with cybersecurity and what can they do to help us be successful, because you're only as successful as your weakest link. And you look across our agency, we have 17,000 employees, and they all play a part in this. So we aggressively looked at education. We got the administrator involved in it. She, in fact, did a video last year that we published and had all employees be involved with it. And we did training and things of that nature. Longer term, we're going to focus more around the operational aspects of it. Looking at, we have the tools in place for continuous monitoring. What we want to focus on is reaction and how do we respond to situations that might perhaps happen to us. We are also working very closely with our federal family and beginning to understand some of the things that they're doing in their areas. I've met with a number of the other CIOs and other agencies and departments to understand what are they doing around it and how can we best incorporate some of the things they're doing from an innovative perspective. One of the things I want to comment on is that the federal CIOs is a very good partnership. I reach out to my peers in the other agencies and departments, and they've all been great in helping us in particularly this area. Yeah, I believe that communications is going to be the biggest area of innovation that will have the largest impact on the agency. And to be a bit more descriptive about it, I see a convergence with laptops, tablets, desk phones, cell phones. That is the area where I see, when you think about people being able to work anywhere, any place, and having access to information, and the tools that they use, that is the area that's moving the fastest. Mobile devices, today you have to have multiple devices. There are technology companies that believe that you could have a laptop, a tablet, cell phone, on and on and on. I see all those converging to a point where you'll have a device, and the device could act as a laptop, it could act as a tablet, it could act as a video conferencing monitor, and it all will merge together, and we have to find a way to support it, deploy it in a safe, secure environment that provide our employees with the tools they need to be able to do their job wherever they sit. Here at EPA, what we're doing to drive innovation is I've made it a priority of mine, as well as my senior leadership team. And what we're doing is we meet on a monthly basis and discuss what are some of the things that we could do that are innovative in nature that's going to help shape this agency and take it to the next level. I think about Wayne Gretzky in this case, and I'll use this as an example. I saw him being interviewed once, and they talked about how he was such a great hockey player and how he was always around the puck. And he said he was not always around the puck. He went to where the puck was going. What I have challenged my leadership team to do is to go to where technology is going. We can't approach innovation from the perspective of looking at where technology is today. We have to plan, especially across federal government, where technology is going. And do step change initiatives that are going to take us in that direction. One step beyond that, though, is we need to also engage our agency, our employees, hear from them, also engage the public, and understand what are some of the needs out there that we aren't aware of, and how we might be able to leverage those needs in a way that would help enable them to do their job in a better way, in a quicker way, that makes it easier for them to do their job. We all have so much to do today. We need to find a way. We as technology should focus on finding ways to make people or enable people to do their jobs much better. Our absolute environment challenge was something that was very well received by the public, and I was extremely excited about the successes we saw from that. To give a background, what we did is we're always very open about our environmental information. We've made it available in data.gov. But one of the challenges that I've always felt is that it's data. It's not information and how people might be able to use it. I jokingly talk about it needs to move from data.gov to knowledge.gov. And how can we affect that shift? So one of the things we did a challenge. It was absolutely environment challenge. The challenge was, we did the challenge last October, and we challenged the private sector to develop applications using environmental information. Well received. We got over 30 applications in from various private, either companies or entities, individuals. We did one that was focused more on companies, and one that was focused on students. So we had a student winner and we had a overall winner, winners and runner-up. And we were just amazed with the types of information that came back. The winner of the Absolute Environment was Light Bulb Finder. And it was a application that helped people understand what types of light bulbs that they could select for their rooms that were the most efficient, that didn't burn, they gave you the right level of light, that burned low energy burning lights, and it's extremely well receptive. The other part of this application that I just loved is you went through and you made selections around how many hours you might be burning lights in a particular room. You had to select which room, you could select which type of light bulb, and then it showed you the cost savings on an annual basis. And then on the back end, you could order the light bulb immediately from that. It was internet-based, it was mobile-based, so you could order it with your iPhone or with your Android. Phenomenal app, did really great. We had students who did who submitted applications. One of the winners looked at environmentally justice, which looks at communities which are more in the disadvantaged community areas and the impact on emissions in those communities. And this particular application focused on tribal communities, which there's not as much work done in the tribal communities. Again, phenomenal work, very well received. Where I want to go next is to look at having a challenge that will help us shift application development work that's currently being done within the federal government, particularly within EPA, out to the private sector. What are some of the things that the private sector can do that's going to help us in terms of application development that can, when you think about how data is collected from the state level and passed to federal government, there's 50 states. There's an opportunity here for a private company, software developer, to develop applications that can be used by multiple states. Build it once, use it multiple times. Today, we have states that are all developing their own respective applications. We can reduce the cost there, maximize our investments, and streamline the flow of information between our state partners and the federal